Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this Q&A. I posted a question and answers on my story on my Instagram a couple days ago, and I had zero intentions of actually answering these questions on Instagram. I wanted to make a video for you guys that allowed me to go into a little bit more detail on some of the bigger questions that you guys had. So I picked a few, that popped up. I'm sparing you all from some of the nonsense that I received. But we'll go over a few of these more important things, and I'll talk to you a little bit about why things are the way they are on the TrainRx performance programming platform. So let's just get right into it, guys. I'm going to try and keep this pretty quick for you, so you're not here listening all day. The first one, guys, get this all the time. Okay, everyone always wants to know this, so I figured this is a great opportunity to go over it. What makes TrainRx performance programming different than all the other programs on the internet, right? To be as transparent as possible, most programs on the internet were all trying to accomplish the exact same thing. Okay, well, the good programs at least, right? People like me who run online training platforms, we've got the same goals. We want to make you stronger. We want to help you get more fit. We want you to feel better about yourself. We want you to perform better inside and outside of the gym. And what we provide is all geared towards helping you out with those things. Okay, so if you're comparing programs, right, if you're comparing what I have here on TrainRx with someone else's program, there's a very good chance that what I do and what they do is very similar. The biggest difference, however, is going to be how that information or how the training tactics are given to you. Okay, there's going to be things that I prioritize that may be different than what someone else prioritizes, or there's going to be formats that are different. There's things that I like more compared to what someone else might like more for their clients. So there's going to be small differences like that. How we train, what we use in our training, what I prioritize, movement selections, things like that. So very minor differences in that form. A big difference, however, with the TrainRx performance programming platform compared to some of the other very big names out there on the internet is who this program is actually geared towards. Okay, if you're looking at online programs, there's a few very, very good ones that are geared towards the everyday human being, right? And those are great. That's awesome. That is also what TrainRx is geared towards. I'm hoping that these programs are best fit for the everyday athlete. But if you dive more into the other platforms, out there and these strength and conditioning programs or these CrossFit programs, you're going to look at it and you're going to see that they are very much geared towards the high performing individual, someone who wants to compete or someone who has the aspirations to compete at higher levels, things like that. So all the training is very geared towards high volume lifting, heavy Olympic weightlifting, things that the normal human doesn't necessarily always have to do. Okay, now I'm not saying that we don't do higher volume workouts and that we don't do Olympic weightlifting, because that's not true. We do all of that on TrainRx, but we don't do it in a manner where you're doing hundreds and hundreds of reps every other day of the same movement, or you're not snatching and clean and jerking 4 days a week. And we do it all in a very appropriate manner for the normal person to get the benefits and reap the rewards of quality training, right? And on top of it, you're not going to spend 90 minutes to 2 hours in the gym or be asked to do 2 training sessions. You're going to get all this done in about 60 minutes, sometimes even less, pending whichever program you choose. So the biggest difference, guys, from what we do here at TrainRx compared to some of the other programs out there is everything we do is geared towards the everyday athlete. Okay, it's for the normal person You don't need to be a high-level competitor. You don't need to have any, crazy feats of strength under your belt. It's for the beginner. It's for the intermediate athlete. It can even be for the advanced athlete, right? Everyone can have the ability to do what we do on this platform. The last thing that I want to go over too, and this is more so on kind of, I guess, the business side of the platform. A lot of programs are very expensive. All right. And that's the way it is. You might spend $50, $60, $70 a month on an online program. With TrainRx, we like to keep that barrier to entry much lower. It's always been a personal decision of mine to keep the cost of the program relatively low and give as many people as possible an opportunity to have access to really high quality training, and not break the bank when they're doing it. Because look, I get it. You're paying for a gym membership. Maybe you have to buy all of the equipment that you need, to outfit your garage or your basement with a gym. All that stuff, those expenses, it adds up and it can cost a lot. So there's no reason that you need to be spending $60 a month for a program to show up on your phone, right? So we keep it pretty low. You can always check out, our website if you want some more information on the membership options and, the price points and all of that. I won't go over any of that here. So the next question, guys, that was, frequently popping up. Why did you start making these programs? To give you a quick little backstory, before TrainRx was even created, guys, I worked in a gym. I was coaching, group classes, training individuals one-on-one, all functional fitness. I did that for about 7 years. And while I was doing this, I noticed a lot of things. I worked with a lot of people, so I got to figure out what people enjoyed, what people didn't enjoy, what they wanted to do, all of that stuff. And I learned not everyone wants to do the exact same thing, right? So me being someone who really enjoys writing programs, really enjoys training and coming up with these, clever, creative ways to make progress, I decided that why not take a stab at creating a platform that offers a bunch of different options that cover, all the training styles that anyone out there may enjoy, and, provide it via the internet so anyone can try it out. So that's what I did. I started coming up with a plan on how to develop these programs, how I'm going to provide them through an app on your phone, what they're going to do. And it all really stemmed from my parents' basement. Set up a gym in my parents' basement, and I got to filming and sharing every single workout, every single thing that I created. I put it on Instagram, and the internet is a wild place, guys. So there was some popularity, some demand, and here we are now, 7 different programs, a bunch of options, strength and conditioning, bodybuilding, CrossFit, just conditioning, you name it, it's on the platform. And I made all of these programs so everyone can have an option. And it doesn't matter if you're brand new to the gym, if you've been working out for 15 years, or if you're just looking for something new. I made these programs for anyone who wants to, give them a try and actually reap the benefits of quality training. So moving on from that, guys, I get asked all the time, especially on Instagram, when people see like the little garage gym that I have set up, what equipment do I have and what equipment do you need for the program? Starting off with what I have, I'm going to tell you this right now, I do not have the perfect, beautiful garage gym setup, all right? I don't have a ton of equipment, right? I've got a squat rack and a pull-up bar. I've got a barbell. I've got about 325 to 350 pounds worth of bumper plates, a couple sets of dumbbells, 2 sets of kettlebells, and an air bike, right? That's it. And I do everything from the program or the whole platform with just that equipment. Okay, so obviously I have to make some, substitutions, some modifications here and there, right? Like a rower isn't just going to materialize on my floor if I open up Wodify and I look and I see, oh, Rick, you've got to row 3,000 meters today. It's not going to happen. Riding the bike or I'm going for a run. So I'm right there with you guys if you don't have all the equipment, right? So you're not alone. But as far as what you need for the program, I tell everyone the exact same thing. Access to your basic general functional fitness equipment. So a barbell, bumper plates, dumbbells, kettlebells, a pull-up bar, and at least one kind of cyclical machine, right? An air bike or a rower. If you're working out in a commercial gym or, you know, at a CrossFit box or anywhere like that, there's a good chance you're going to have, you know, access to this stuff. But if you're training at home, right, or you're using your home gym, these are the things that you want to really try and get. I know it's an investment, but it will go a long way, and it will really, really improve your training, so to speak. And I'll put a lot of emphasis on at least one cyclical machine. An air bike or a rower, they're a big investment, I know, but they are wildly important, and they can help out a lot, right? That way you don't always have to constantly run or jump rope. Having that air bike or that rower is huge. So that's really just the equipment, guys. You don't need the fanciest setup to get a lot of really good training done. I'll talk a little bit more about the limited equipment side when we get down to one of these lower questions. But yeah, so that's all I've got. That's all you need. We'll go on from there. Next up, we talk a lot about the tactics and what we use on the programs, and you know, why do we pick, you know, WMR instead of percentages? Why do we focus on these specific formats more than others? You know, I prioritize certain things because I know that they work, right? We pick the way that we train to drive results, not just to look flashy and sexy for the internet, right? So one of those things is weight of max repetitions. If you're familiar with the platform, we use it a ton on BuildRx, you know, our bodybuilding program. And we use it instead of percentage-based, you know, work, because it's a really, really effective means for training, but also really, really effective for driving forward progress and getting stronger. All right, so let's take a step back. What does WMR even mean, right? For those of you who don't know what it is, it's going to be the weight for max repetitions, okay, or the max weight that you can use for a given rep count. I'll go with 8 reps as the example, right? So if you're looking at your program and you see WMR 8, that means what is the max weight that you can use for 8 unbroken repetitions? This is going to be a hard set, right? It's not going to be easy if you're actually using the heaviest weight that you can use. Now, the ticker here, though, is if we use that weight across more working sets, we're going to accumulate more total volume than we would if we were, say, using 65% of our 1 rep max, or starting with a heavy weight and then decreasing over however many sets we need to, just because we're getting tired. So when we use WMR, it's a means of guaranteeing that you're accumulating enough volume to drive forward progress, right? And I think that's huge, because we don't always see that with the percentage-based system. Now, I'm not going to say that percentage-based systems are bad, and we do use them on the whole platform, right? I love percentage-based systems. Give me a 5x5 at 75%, awesome, great, right? But it might not always work for everyone. You might have people who don't know their 1 rep max. You might have people who have gotten stronger, right? And then all of a sudden, a 75% of their 1 rep max for 5 repetitions isn't enough volume to drive forward progress. Okay, so we want to avoid those things. We want the progressions to be very easy to keep up with. And we also don't want to have to test our 1 rep max all the time, right? You know, using or testing these max effort lifts, it's very, very taxing on the body, especially when it's a 1 rep, because that is just, you know, as hard as you can make it. It's going to be really, really difficult to do that over and over and over again. Whereas, you know, if we test something like a 3 rep or a 5 rep or an 8 rep max, it's not as heavy. It's not a full on max effort attempt. So we can manage that a little bit better. The last thing with WMR, guys, and why, you know, we use it. It's unique, okay? When I created BuildRx, I wanted to put something out there that wasn't like, you know, the usual bodybuilding program. That's why we use, you know, high intensity intervals. We utilize 1 minute intervals, 3 minute AMRAPs. We do EMOMs and things like that, because I wanted it to be unique, but I still wanted it to drive home a lot of very solid training, you know, formats and techniques and strategies. But it's different, okay? It's not the normal program that you can just hop on Google and type in how to get stronger, right? Or what percentages do I use for this, okay? It's a little bit different, and it's not what you're going to see from everyone else, right? So it's unique to the platform and unique to my style of coaching and training. The last one that popped up in this question and answer that I really wanted to go over with you guys is right here. Why are WODRx, BaseRx, and DumbbellRx all CrossFit-based programs? So let's start off by lumping these 3 programs all into one, okay? All 3 of these programs are a version of WODRx. Now, why does WODRx have different versions? Well, it's because constantly varied fitness is an extremely popular style of training, okay? You know, you have strength and conditioning, and you have just conditioning, and you have bodybuilding, right? Those are all very popular formats as well, right? But you're not going to have a ton of different variations of those, you know, training tactics, so to speak. With constantly varied fitness or with CrossFit, you're going to have people who can do a bunch of stuff with barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, pull-up bars, and all this. You're going to have a bunch of people who want to train for an hour. You're going to have people who only want to hit one single workout, and maybe they're done and satisfied with their training in 9 minutes. You're going to have someone who only has access to a few pieces of equipment, right? So that's why there's different variations of this. We'll starting off here with WODRx. Guys, it's a mashup of multiple, you know, classic CrossFit-based workouts in a 60-minute interval. It's very, very reminiscent of an old school CrossFit blog. You get a lot of AMRAPs, a lot of 4-time workouts, chippers, 21, 15, 9 rep schemes, couplets, things like that. But it's for that person who wants the CrossFit-based workouts, but doesn't want just one singular, you know, WOD, so to speak, on a daily basis. They want a little bit more, right? So that's what we do here, 60 minutes, constantly varied, whole mashup of a bunch of workouts. It's really, really cool. BaseRx is the same exact thing as WODRx. Mashup of a bunch of different constantly varied workouts, AMRAPs, chippers, 4 times, 21, 15, 9s, things like that. But it's only in 30 minutes, right? Because not everyone has 60 minutes. We've got busy lives, guys. Kids running around, work is extremely demanding. So if you can only get 30 minutes a day and you need that to be a high intensity, jam-packed, you know, training session, BaseRx is your option, right? Just another variation of WODRx. Last up, DumbbellRx. Okay, this is the limited equipment program on the whole platform. This program has gone through a ton of different changes, guys. For what it's worth, it was created because of, you know, the gym closures and everything that went down with COVID, because we all needed an option to train, especially because we couldn't get into our gym. So we were working out with dumbbells, kettlebells, you know, sandbags, whatever the heck we could get our hands on. And that's how it came up. So originally DumbbellRx was a concurrent training program. It had some strength and hypertrophy work combined with conditioning. Then it eventually evolved into just constantly varied conditioning. And that was the result of a lot of people who were on the program not having access to weights that they needed to make real strength training, you know, progressions and get results from it. And I definitely took that to heart, and I said, you know what, that's super important. It's not worth someone's time to do, you know, 3 sets of 10 dumbbell goblet squats if the goblet or the dumbbell that they have is only 30 pounds. You're not going to get a ton of, you know, beneficial, you know, results if you're trying to get stronger using a 30-pound dumbbell. So we changed the program around, and now it's all constantly varied. And it's going to change again, because guess what? People are back into the gyms. They're working out in commercial gyms. They're back in their boxes. They've got access to more dumbbells, more weights, and now we can do some more strength and hypertrophy. So starting next month, Dumbbell RX is actually going to be having an update, and it's going to have a second tier added to the track. There's going to be a conditioning only tier, then there will be a strength and hypertrophy only tier available, on that program. So if you follow that program, if you're interested in training with just dumbbells or kettlebells, Dumbbell RX is going to have some strength and hypertrophy. It's going to be really, really cool. And the way you guys can do it, you can mix and match what you do during the day. You can stick to just strength and hypertrophy. You can stick to just conditioning. It's really all up to you. So to wrap that one up, why are these 3 programs all CrossFit based? One, guys, it's an extremely popular form of training. A lot of people want that constantly varied format. And that's why it is the way it is on the platform, because all of the other programs, right, cover the other formats. We've got the strength and conditioning and hybrid RX. You've got the bodybuilding with Build RX. You have your metabolic conditioning with Metcon RX. You can't make different variations of those programs. So that's why this one is the way it is. So those were the 5 main questions that I wanted to go over with you guys. I'm more than likely to do another question and answer like this. I might answer a few more questions on Instagram next time in comparison to what I did this previous time. But if there's anything that requires a more in-depth response from me, I'll probably pop it up on a video just like this so you guys can give it a listen. Feel free to ask me anything. If you want to know more about any of these questions, if you don't understand one of my responses, please shoot me an email, reply to this video, whatever works for you. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll talk to you all later.